Struggling to make a way to live her life, a single one to come on the skill. Sending me back to the afterlife, her hard way to make them away. Fighting all the evil that comes our way is just a regular one of her day. Cause she's Jane of the underworld, Jane of the underworld, Jane of the underworld, Jane of the underworld, Jane of the underworld.
Jane of the Underworld by Dr. Keith, half-hour episodic TV comedy. Cold open, exterior park bench day. Lorna, 70s, the most endearing and sweetest of Mimas, eats a bag of candy and stares at people longingly. Jane, 40s, middle-aged and fit, sits down beside Lorna and opens a bag of popcorn and tosses a handful to the animals.
They are so sweet, aren't they?
Who? The people or the squirrels?
The people, silly. I like to watch them feed the animals.
And consume their souls, right?
Excuse me?
Jane opens her wallet and flashes her badge, Jane X, Afterlife Procurement and Enforcement.
Crap.
You're not supposed to be here, Lorna.
I know,
You're on parole, ghost lady. The human world is off limits. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'll go.
Lorna turns to leave. The bag of candy rustles.
Help us!
Hold it!
Lorna freezes.
What's in the bag, Lorna?
Nothing, just a little candy.
She's eating us alive! Help us!
Jane approaches. Lorna clutches the bag.
Give me the bag, Lorna.
Lorna, visibly unsettled, looks around for an escape.
Give me the bag now.
Lorna frantically shovels hands full of candy into her mouth and runs away. Jane catches and restrains her. Lorna resists.
Spit it out. I said spit it out.
Jane grabs Lorna by the mouth and, like a cartoon, stretches it to 10 times normal size, extends her arm down Lorna's throat, and removes some candy. She finds live humans trapped inside.
What the hell is this?
I can explain.
You're ingesting humans again?
I have low blood sugar.
300 years in and out of corporeal form, and that's your best excuse? You're going back.
No.
What did the magistrate tell you?
Stay out of trouble and don't eat humans.
And what did you do? Huh?
I had to. The hunger was unbearable.
Well, then you should have eaten a bear.
Jane opens a portal. Lorna falls to her knees.
Don't send me back to the bad place. It's hot, and there are pointy things, and everyone there tastes terrible, and...
You brought this on yourself, lady.
But...
Sorry, Lorna, you're going back.
No. No. No!
Lorna morphs into an evil hag resembling Darth Sidious. She vomits fire, somersaults about, and commands lightning. Cyclones form, skies darken, woodland creatures turn evil, glow, and surround the bench. Jane remains unfazed.
You will not defeat me, afterlife procurement person. Your feeble skills are no match for my power.
You know, if you put this much effort into not eating people, you wouldn't be in trouble right now.
You will be my candy. I'll consume your flesh and devour your soul.
Yeah, try it, demon. I'll stuff you in a mason jar and store you in my pantry.
Die.
Lorna launches herself at Jane. Boom! A flash of light illuminates the storming sky. The dust clears. Jane stands triumphantly holding a mason jar with Lorna trapped inside.
Told ya.
Let me out.
What?
Give me back my candy.
Got it.
Jane tosses the jar into her purse. She grabs the bag of candy and, without thinking, starts snacking.
Hey!
Jane, horrified, spits the candy into her hand.
My bad.
Sicko.
Act 1, interior, apartment, living room, night. Jane cuddles with Gertrude, 6-ish. Cute and impressionable, they eat popcorn and watch a vampire slayer on TV.
Why is the lady still fighting vampires?
Because she's bad at her job, honey.
Do you ever fight vampires?
No, not in a genocide.
Ever fight zombies?
Nope, too passe.
What about werewolves?
Come on, honey. I'm not racist.
Jane's cell phone lights up.
Jane!
Jane looks at the phone screen. Annoyed, she flips the phone over and places it face down on the coffee table.
Is that your boss?
You certainly think so.
Jane! Are you going to answer?
Nope.
Jane! Won't you get in trouble?
Don't care, sweetie. Tonight is all about you and me.
Special effects light flash. Malcolm, 60s, dressed elegantly, appears.
Why are you ignoring my calls?
Ah!
Stop that! Ah! Ugh.
Gotcha.
Hilarious. Can we move on now?
You're no fun. Honey, say hi to the disgruntled cherub.
Hi, Mr. Malcolm.
Hello, child.
You're
Jane.
interrupting movie night. You're interrupting movie night.
We have business.
I'm off the clock, Malcolm.
You're not off the clock until business is complete, rookie.
Sweetie, go get mommy's crossbow.
Okay.
No, do not get mommy's crossbow.
Gertrude excitedly runs to the other room.
Thanks, sweetie.
What the devil do you think you're teaching that child?
The disruptions to movie night will not be tolerated.
Whatever. Where's my cargo?
Top shelf, second from the right, near the almond butter.
Thank you.
Malcolm enters the kitchen, locates the almond butter, and next to it, a jar labeled Case X37, Lorna.
Let me out! Let me out, damn you!
Malcolm places the jar in his satchel.
You've already made my deposit?
Yes. And I trust that the next time I call you, you'll answer promptly.
You know, Malcolm, if you're going to lecture me, hurry it up, okay? I've got a tub of popcorn, a sugar-infused 6-year-old, and at least 3 more episodes of Buffy before bedtime.
Malcolm pulls a folder from his satchel.
Change of plans. We got a runner.
Malcolm hands the folder to Jane. She reviews the documents. Insert images of a handsome lady as both human and as demon.
Her name is Judith. She died ages ago, but is now just settling into the hereafter, or so we thought.
Well, how'd she get out? Backdoor portal or demon network?
Doesn't matter. Point is, she's out and she's making life in the terrestrial world very messy.
Insert photos of men kidnapped, tortured, and mummified.
Oh, Judas Priest! Did she suck the life out of all these men?
Pretty much. She'll occasionally snap their necks too, but only the ones that she really likes. Intel suggests her next victim is likely to be in your area. I need you to secure this soul-sucking succubus and send that sycophant back to the underworld.
Gee, Malcolm, alliteration much?
Excuse me?
Never mind. I'm on it. In the morning.
This is high priority.
And this is me telling you I'll take care of it in the morning.
Your acquisitions responsibilities include non-traditional work hours, especially when there are high priority targets that are
This is my night with my kid, okay? I'm not losing my time with her for you or anyone.
Look me in the eyes, rookie, and
Jane locks eyes with Malcolm. They glare at each other for what seems like an eternity. Suddenly, Malcolm blinks.
oh, damn it!
I win!
No, do over. My eyes are dry.
Nuh-uh, you lost and you know it. I get it my way.
Fine. Tomorrow morning. Later.
Malcolm exits. Gertrude enters holding Jane's crossbow, dressed in a cloak and hat like a tiny Van Helsing.
Ready?
Thank you, honey, but mommy's not going to need her crossbow after all.
Gertrude points to a photo of Judith.
Who's that?
Her? Well, she's one of mommy's cases.
That looks like Daddy's new lady friend.
When did Daddy get a lady friend?
I don't know. He introduced us the morning after the last sleepover.
What, he did what?
At night, when they think I'm asleep, they get into Daddy's bed and make squishy noises.
Interior Brian's house, living room, day. Brian, 40s, conjunctive twit, plays video games on his couch. Jane portals into the room, vexed.
Pillock, dullard, Babcock.
I have no idea what your fancy words mean. Also, hi, Jane.
Gertrude heard you and your lady friend having sex.
What? When?
You ought to know. You paid for it. And don't try to say you didn't. Money is the only way any woman can justify humping you.
It's not like that, Jane.
Yeah, what did you give her? Cash? Credit? Bitcoin? Who am I kidding? You probably just gave her herpes.
Now, wait a minute.
And you did it while in custodial care of our daughter. Poor girl must have been traumatized hearing that hooker pretend to enjoy sex with you. She was probably traumatized even worse than when she heard me pretending to enjoy sex with you. And
Jane,
what?
I have a girlfriend.
No, you don't.
I'm serious.
Oh my God. You are serious. What's her day rate?
My girlfriend does not have a day rate.
So she's what? Hourly? She takes coupons, you get her on layaway?
It's a relationship, Jane. You know, we walk in the woods together. Gertrude likes her, and
Then there are rules, Brian.
here we go.
1, dating is only supposed to occur on non-custodial nights. 2, any partner with whom you engage in squishy noises is supposed to meet me before meeting our daughter. And since your date is apparently on recurrent billing,
Brian, what's going on?
OMG. She's here?
OMG, she's here?
Of course she's here. Now get out.
Honey, is everything all right?
All good. Angel muffins.
In fact, Angel Muffins, come on down and meet my dearest friend.
What are you doing?
Pilates and Jägermeister after I checked Woodland Mom for ticks. What do you think?
Honey, are you sure?
Jane covers Brian's mouth before he has a chance to speak.
Of course, lovely buns. Join us. Later, after my friend leaves, we can go back to my wallet and I can pay you more cash money for sex.
Brian bites Jane's hand as she bops him on the head. Judith, 30s, sensual, commanding, and fit, enters.
Silly. Time and a half costs extra. 50% now and...
Judith and Jane lock eyes. They recognize each other. Judith freezes. Jane checks the image on cell phone. It's a match.
Jane, this is...
A demon. Your date is a demon.
Jane flashes her badge.
Hello, Judith.
Judith's eyes glow red. She levitates Brian.
What the hell?
Judith stretches her arm across the room, grabs Brian by his neck, and retracts him back towards her.
Jane!
Don't act surprised. This is exactly the kind of crap that happens when you pay for strange.
Is this some kind of Zen thing? Kyle?
Oh, hey, Mandy.
What's that?
This is an inflamed appendix that just,
Please don't. If you don't want to talk about it, just say so.
sorry.
So it's something serious.
What?
Whenever you're dealing with something important and you don't know what to do, you turn to making organ jokes. Bad. organ jokes.
I don't do that.
Every time. But anyway, I'll let you be. I just came in to get a refill.
What, the iced tea? It's warm. I took the last a bit ago, but I made more.
Thanks.
Sure.
So what's in the envelope?
Letter, I'm guessing. Don't know for sure. Got delivered this morning.
The mail doesn't usually come this early.
It was special delivery. Western Union, I think.
Are they even still in business?
Apparently.
So what does it say?
Don't know. Haven't opened it.
And you won't know unless you do. That's how letters work, Kyle.
It's from my dad.
I thought you weren't on speaking terms.
Or not.
So how do you get your address? When was the last time you...
Not since he left. Long time ago. Well, let's see. Ennis was born that year, so I would have been 13? 12. No, it was summer, so 13.
What do you think he... You know, what the letter...
Don't know. I can't imagine what he would possibly have to say to me, and especially in a letter.
Maybe he wants to connect again. Maybe he...
I doubt it. And if he does, yeah, that's too bad for him.
You gonna open it?
I don't know.
He must be at least curious.
Of course I'm curious. What kind of question is that?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to... Yeah, I'll let you...
No. Please. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do, you know? Just has me kind of on edge.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I don't want to pry, you know?
No, it's okay.
I'm glad to listen if you want to talk, though. You know that, right? Or I can see if Alex is awake if you'd rather talk to him.
Actually, I'd rather not talk to him.
Everything okay between you two?
Yeah, it's all fine. It's just, I don't know.
All right, well, like I said, I'll be glad to listen if you want me.
Thanks. You know, he always drank iced tea. So naturally, I hated the stuff for years. Yeah, but it kind of grew on me. Not sweet like that soda crap that Alex drinks all the time.
I like this peach blend we got. It's just that little hint of sweet, you know, but without actually...
Yeah, he was a black tea kind of guy. My father. Lipton. Straight up.
Each to his own, I suppose. Did you tell your mom about it?
No.
You going to?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what's inside.
Only one way to find out.
Suppose.
Kyle, what are you afraid of?
It's hard to say. I guess mostly I'm afraid of finding out that I was right
About what?
about why he left, why he never came back.
So you don't know for certain. Well, that's a stupid thing to say, isn't it? I guess there's no way you could really know. I'm sorry.
I thought about that day. So, hell, thought about it pretty much every day through the rest of my teens, wondering
Wondering.
how things would have been if I'd
If you'd what?
just kept my mouth shut. You see, my dad was kind of a lazy fuck. Yeah, he never did anything to help my mom. Oh, he'd bend over backwards for anybody else. But when it came to our family,
Sorry.
it was the worst to my mom. He was so awful. Mary, where's my dinner? Mary, how come the clothes aren't folded yet? Mary, do this. Mary, do that. And my mom, she'd never say anything back. She'd just do it. Whatever he asked, whatever he told her.
Maybe she just wanted to make him happy.
Maybe. It was really hard to watch. Lily and me, we sometimes we'd say stuff to him, tell him he should help her out. It always just ended in a fight. He'd call us ungrateful. We'd call him all kinds of things. And then Mom would come in and stick up for him. Well, not stick up for him so much, just try to diffuse things. She was the president of the "if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it" fan club.
What happened?
Mom was pregnant with Ennis, and it was a really hard one. She was sick a lot of the time. The doctor told her to stay off her feet, get as much rest as she could.
I'm guessing she didn't.
Well, she tried. He wouldn't let her. He'd call her lazy and say she was just making excuses. So she'd get up, even though she wasn't supposed to, and do everything. Me and Lily would try to help, but we were in school, and she'd... Sorry, this is...
It's okay, really. Go on. If you want to.
Anyway, we'd always come home to find that she'd been up and doing stuff and all day. Then this one day, about a week after school had ended, he came home in the middle of the day. Lily and I were just doing chores around the house, and he started it on Mom, making her feel bad for just lying there while we were cleaning.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of my breaking point, I guess. I said some stuff I shouldn't have said.
What'd you say?
Called him a bum. At least that was the gist. I used a few more adjectives than that. Told him he didn't deserve my mom.
It sounds like he didn't.
No, he didn't. I said some other things too. Angry things. And he got angry and yelled back, and I yelled louder. And he started throwing things. I remember him running his arm along this shelf and everything crashing to the floor. A bunch of things broke, including this really cool clay pot that Lily had made for him in art class. We used to keep a bunch of seashells in it, and they went flying everywhere, like this one.
Is that why you carry it around?
After he did that, he started to storm out. I should have just let him go. I almost did, And I think if I had just left, if he had just left, gone wherever he used to go, that would have been it. Just one more fight in a long list of... but he didn't. When he got to the door, he turned around and he looked right at my mom and said, "You better have that mess cleaned up by the time I get home."
My God.
That was the breaking point. I picked this up and threw it at him as hard as I could as he was leaving. Hit him right in the back of the head. Here, you can see where it chipped. He spun around. I remember screaming at him, said he was a monster, that we'd all be better off if he just walked out that door and never came back.
What'd he say?
Nothing. He just stood there staring at me. Then he turned around and left.
That was it?
That was it. Never came back.
My God, Kyle.
Got really bad after that. Everything was in his name. He canceled the credit cards right away, so Mom had to go get a part-time job just so we could buy food.
But you had the house, right? I mean, if he never came back.
For a bit. And we stayed there until after Ennis was born, but he had stopped paying the mortgage. And they foreclosed on the place by the end of the year.
But what about child support? Or
What, are you kidding?
he'd have to. As part of the divorce, the courts.
What divorce? There wasn't a divorce. Technically, they're still married, I think.
Oh my God. So what'd you do?
We stayed with my aunt for a little while. But she didn't have enough room for 4 more people. Eventually, we got an apartment. And, you do what you have to.
I am so sorry, Kyle. I never had the slightest idea.
How could you?
It sounds like you're definitely better off without him, but I hope you don't blame yourself. You were 13. He's the one who made things like that. If
No, but it was my fault. The way it worked out.
I don't know. It sounds to me like it was just a matter of time. You couldn't have known what would happen. Hell, when I was 13, I was about as dumb as...
No. Don't give me that we were all 13 once crap. You want to know the bad part?
Well, Jesus, that's not the bad part.
Here's the real kick in the head. I found out a couple of years later that my mom had been planning on leaving him. She'd been saving up money for a while, but then when she got pregnant, she decided to stick it out until after Ennis was born, so that she'd have insurance and everything for the birth.
My God.
And I went and fucked it all up. Cleaned out Mom's savings. Took everything out of the deposit box. Everything. I cost her everything. So don't tell me how we all do stupid things when we're young. Stupid. And then there's stupid.
Kyle, you couldn't have known. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that? The letter.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I should open it, but I just can't imagine anything he'd say that I'd want to hear. But, if I just throw it away, then I think, what if the fucker somehow grew a conscience? Maybe he sent a check and I could give it to my mom. I mean, I don't really care about anything he'd say to me, but if there was a chance for something good to come out of it for her,
You could open it and see if it had a check, but not read it.
Yeah, but maybe he left something in a will, or he. I don't know. I just think that if I open it, I'm gonna end up reading it.
Unless.
Oh, hello.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Um, uh,
Is it Shirley?
yes,
It's on the screen there, so I just figured.
right. Of course.
Guess we're both early.
I like to get settled before things begin.
Me too. Yeah, rushing makes me feel all stressed, and I like to be, chill.
Well, you certainly look relaxed.
Thanks.
Plus, I am the recording secretary.
The what now?
Oh, I take notes of meetings, send out meeting reminders, that kind of thing.
Huh. Cool.
So, how did you find out about the group?
Actually, it was your group leader who reached out to me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've done this kind of thing before, posted about it on a ton of Insta, Twitter. I've even done TikTok videos.
That's wonderful. Wow. I so admire you.
Yeah, I like to be proactive, put in the time.
I do so admire that. I mean, I'm on Facebook, trying to spread the word.
Oh, about the group?
About everything that's going on. But, it's hard when so much is being censored right now.
Really?
Oh, yes. I mean, those posts and videos of yours, don't they get taken down all the time?
Oh, you are totally right. I mean, they don't get taken down anymore, but that's because I'm super careful that I don't violate their freaking nanny state user policies.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm responsible. I always put filters on my stuff saying it's for adults only.
But you shouldn't have to do that. Why shouldn't children be exposed to truth as well?
Right. Because, the human form is something beautiful. It's not something we should be hiding from people.
I'm sorry.
That is totally why I do this. I mean, it's not for money.
Money.
Although, trust me, $25 for an hour of posing naked is really helping right now.
Oh, hi, Paul. So glad you're already on. I'll get you in a pose in just a second. And Shirley, welcome to Life Drawing 101. I don't seem to have your name on the list of participants. Did you sign up under another name, maybe?
I think I'm in the wrong meeting.
Well, that was strange.
Another video box pops up. Chloe freezes when she reads their username, Towelheads Go Home. The video pops up of a bare-chested dude wearing a Viking hat with right-wing symbols tattooed over his chest and arms. He grins, then stares in shock at Chloe.
Chloe, FYI, I am not splitting my fee with this guy.
Interior bar, nighttime. a local hole-in-the-wall neighborhood bar called the Benbow Saloon that serves the down-and-out regulars. The bartender, Jim, 42, is behind the bar listening to one of the local patrons, Bill, seated at the bar.
You mark my words. Pretty soon, we're not going to have enough money to pay the rent no more. And I know you've been thinking of...
Bill breaks off his speech as a stranger enters the bar. The man is Ben, 51, with long, uncombed hair. He has a black patch over one eye, and he's carrying a large brown box. Bill and Jim watch as Ben crosses the room and sits down at a table, places the box on a table in front of him.
Did you see that?
Well, I'd have to be blind not to see someone walk into this bar.
No. Did you see what he was carrying?
Yeah, a box. So what?
Kind of strange. Kind of a large box, don't you think?
Didn't give it much thought.
Well, you should. There's something strange about him. What's in the box?
Don't care.
Remember I told you about that headless lady they found last week? They still don't know who she was, and they ain't ever found out who killed her.
I don't remember.
I sit here and try to help you understand what's happening in the world, and you just stand on the other side and pretend to listen.
Pretending? You hurt me, Bill. I never pretend to listen. I'm really not listening.
What you gonna do about it?
Well, Bill, seeing as this is a bar and a new patron has walked into this bar, I guess I'll go see what he wants to drink.
Fine, fine. You go see what he wants, but I'm getting out of here before I lose my head. If you're lucky, I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I'll just have to find some other bar stool to sit on.
Bill gets up abruptly and leaves the bar. Jim looks over at the stranger and cautiously approaches his table.
What can I do for you?
Let's start with rum. Rum and coke.
Jim walks back to the bar, pours a drink, brings the drink back to the table. Ben does not look up or at the drink. He stare at the box in front of him.
You know, it could kill you.
What?
Curiosity. It's what killed the cat, you know.
What do you mean?
You're curious, aren't you?
Curious? Curious about what?
Ben nods towards the box on the table.
What's in this here box? You want to know, don't you?
It's none of my business.
It's good you respect the privacy of your patrons. Of course, you never know what you might find out about them or what's going on in your own neighborhood. Like, I don't know if you heard this or not. You know, there was a lady found dead not too far from here.
Oh, yes, I heard about it. I heard she might have been murdered.
Might have been murdered. Oh, I'd say she was definitely murdered. Since I heard she lost her head. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did hear that.
Good, good. Just goes to show you, you never know what you might find in your own little neighborhood. And why don't I show you my files from the box?
Ben begins to gently open the top of the box. He reaches one hand into the bag that's inside the box.
Well, that's not really necessary. I really don't need to know what's in there.
Ben stands up and places both hands into the bag. Ben slowly removes the contents and places a woman's shoe on the table.
It's a shoe.
It's just a shoe. But you're a man of some taste, don't you see the craftsmanship, style? Don't you see the elegance? What else could you ask for?
How about another shoe?
What?
Well, most shoes come in pairs. Most people have 2 feet.
I'm not talking about function here. This is art. This is about craftsmanship, design, no passion.
Ben pauses as he overhears the sound of footsteps coming from outside. It grows closer to the barred door. The footsteps are uneven, as though the person has a peg leg.
You better give that back to me.
Jim hands the shoe back, and Ben tries to stuff the shoe back in the bag, but before he can complete the action, a woman enters the bar. She is Babe, 48. She's wearing 1 foot, and she's limping.
Ben Gunn, I know you have my shoe, and I've been hobbling up and down these streets, slipping in and out of every bar. I want my shoe back, and I want it now.
Ben holds out the box to Babe.
Of course, I have your shoe. I was keeping it safe for you. Here it is.
Babe grabs the box from Ben's hands, sits down, takes the shoe out, begins to put it on.
Hey, would you like me to help you?
No, you don't deserve the pleasure.
Babe finishes putting the shoe on. She stands up and starts walking toward the exit. She stops to turn
And
once toward Ben.
And keep away from my shoes.
Babe leaves. Ben sits back down. Jim is standing next to him, shaking his head.
That Babe, she has great fashion sense, but she hates to share.
Ben lifts his glass to Jim.
How about another rum and coke?
Jim takes the glass and starts toward the bar.
Sure thing. I might have one myself.
Yay! So, except for the glitch in the beginning, I hope this has been a kind of an enjoyable experience for everyone. I'd like to do it once a month. The writers in the group, I hope you'd like to submit more material, and hopefully we'll get more actors to fill it up. So the first one we did was Jane of the Underworld, or was it?
No, it was Jane of the Underworld. That was
Yeah, it was
it.
Jane of the Underworld. I've met Keith Newton like maybe 2 years ago at another group that someone else was trying to start, and I remember him writing a very funny scene that had to do with a chimpanzee detective. It was very funny. So I've really enjoyed his work. So
Yeah,
Keith,
this guy, Inspector Monkey, right?
Yes, yes.
That's too funny.
Fun fact: Jules also did a table read for me over at UCB back in LA.
Oh,
on
Yes.
that one.
Loved it.
So you
So much
really
fun.
didn't meet in prison then, huh?
Well,
No.
we met in prison, but we continued our relationship afterwards.
Right,
And
right,
by
right.
relationship, I mean I do whatever she needs in order to make sure they never find out where I buried the bodies.
That's right.
So, Keith, have you been able to move your products into production?
No, not yet. I am still working on both finding management in order to help me achieve that, and also writing more and more things so that when the day comes and somebody says, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's get through the door and let's have some meetings, that I've got lots of material. So in case somebody doesn't like one thing, well, I can say, well, how about this other thing? I'm currently working on the thing I just flashed on screen, Inspector Monkey, getting a little bit of a short animation done for the web. And working on this piece, Jaina of the Underworld, that you heard as a half-hour comedy, trying to rewrite that now also as an hour-long pilot. So, because that's some of the feedback that I've gotten from different producers and stuff. But as of yet, I am still here in illustrious Newton Manor. All 600 square feet of the room in which or 20 square feet of the room in which I find myself, but making along and trying to get things going, and just keeping up the writing and trying to make some connections so that I can find somebody to help me move this along with one of the networks and one of the production companies.
Okay. So have you written more on Jane of the Underworld?
Well, Jane of the Underworld, I have the pilot is complete on that. At least the half-hour pilot is complete. The hour-long pilot, has been frustrating me for the last several weeks because I've been trying to rewrite this half-hour story as an hour-long story, and then finding that's not working, and then trying to write a new story, and then going, that's not working either, and basically pulling out all of my hair. Meaning, as soon as I find that hair, I will pull it out. But yeah, it's so I finished. So the answer is I have been writing more and more, and there's a couple other projects that are going on simultaneously that I'm trying to get completed as well.
Who does the artwork for you?
Oh, well, that depends. The one that you saw, regarding Jane of the Underworld, this is one that is all ripped from the internet. So okay. I have done I've gotten the characters, all except for Keith David, who you see, kind of on the left of the side, all of those, free license to use, and then kind of put it all together in like a Photoshop. Inspector Monkey, which you kind of saw, is actually something I hired an artist to draw all the monkeys, and then I combined the rest of the stuff independently, just putting that inside Photoshop and the like. And there are other ones, like one of these other pilots that I finished right at the beginning of the year, Spaceman Dave and Karen of the Universe. This is another grab and schlock from the internet. It's like you grab whatever pieces you can that support the idea of what you have and put that together. And I found that doing that kind of helps, some of these folks to whom I'm presenting and some of the managers and producers get the idea, because I've learned that people just don't imagine anymore. So if I tell them about, a single mom who is sending demons back to the afterlife, they don't get it. And if I show a little bit of an image, like, oh, I get it, sort of like Buffy. Okay, that's just enough that I need for a conversation, and then I can move forward. Sure. Yeah.
Have you shown this to screenwriting groups as well as more professional people? If you're interested in that, I'd love you to come to our group. I'd love to read the rest.
You know what? I am always looking for an opportunity to have scripts read by more people. So if there's an opportunity to do that with your group, I would love to be able to do so. So yeah, let's chat offline. Find me on Facebook or one of the other nets, and then let's have a conversation.
What group do you have, Claire?
Oh, it's we're still on Meetup, although I'm thinking we might do the same thing with Facebook. It's called the Pasadena Area Screenwriting Group, but we're basically from all over. Actually, we're all over the US, and I'm in the UK at the moment. So, and we've been going for about 10 years now. So we and we're just reading a couple of sci-fi scripts this week. So we read a lot of sci-fi and genre stuff.
You're in the UK. It's like 1 a.m. there, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's 12:15, and I have to get up again at 4. But I don't want to miss this.
So, Bill, you had
hardcore, Claire.
Bill. Oh, it's not Bill. It's.
Yeah. Thank you. I was going to say I'm sorry. Wait. I also want to mention a group that we do that you might be interested in, Keith, and all the writers, and then Sky Pilot Theater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, before the COVID, we had relationships with writers. They send the material in. We do one act festival. Of course, we didn't do it this year. And we do what we call Runway, where we take 6 or 8 of the chosen full-length plays, do a staged, standing up, script in hand production with LA theater directors, moderator, the playwright there. The members then choose which 2 will be with us next season that we will put on and produce. But right now what we're doing is trying to, again, connect with playwrights and doing it as we just did here, Zoom productions. If you go on skypilottheater.com, we have BLM, Black Lives Matter, Volume 2 was 3 1-acts, Volume 3 was 3 1-acts. I was in one of them playing a drunk from Typecast, drunk in a barfly. But
Can you repeat
all well written like these are. They're well written. We record them, we work on them, record them. Our tech people do a wonderful job to put on a Zoom play, and it would be up to the playwright if they want us to put it on our Facebook page and our YouTube page.
What was the name of it again? The
Sky Pilot Theater Company. It would be skypilottheater.com. We try to keep the actors there going. We do speeches that are then taken into a montage where different actors say different lines in the speech. We do 1-acts, and right now, because of COVID, we're not on stage. We don't have a stage. We had a production ready to go in March.
Why did you call me?
But that closed, that stopped. So we want to try to at least get playwrights, their relationship, look at their work, put it on for them. We actually have them come into the Zoom meetings and see the Zoom showing up at the reading of it. We do Zoom play readings like this and let them see their work. Do you want us to go further with this? Or do you want no one else to see it? It's up to the playwright. We just want relationships with playwrights, so please, again, skypilottheater.com, or you can simply put skypilotsubmissions@gmail.com. Mention my name, Chuck Lacey, which I'll change here. So they know that a member sent you.
That's Morris Shore is connected with that group?
Yeah, he directed the one I was in, The Bartender.
Okay.
He directed that, and he's doing a play now. Yes.
Okay. David?
Please put that information in the Facebook group.
Or you can put it in the chat too here.
Put it in the chat, yes.
The chat
I think chat is disabled, isn't it?
Chat is disabled. Otherwise, I would have suggested that.
I don't know why they keep doing that. It's
By the way, I wanted to say, Keith, I thought that first opening scene was, I mean, the whole of your script I could really picture so well, and I just the opening scene was just really, I could really see the bench, I could see the action, and then I could see the to and fro and with the ex-husband, and it was really clever. And I was wondering if you had considered, and I know this isn't really helping with feedback, this is just giving you more work to do, but I wonder if you considered doing, I mean, how would it work as an animation? I always think during COVID times, animation's got to be easier to get produced in a way, although hopefully we're coming out of that now. But
yeah, that's a great question. Often with my scripts, I think particularly because of the way the dialogue happens, or just because of the ridiculous worlds that I invent with these really intimate human stories, that I get the question about what about doing this in animation? And a couple of the pieces, like you saw Inspector Monkey, when you haven't seen, that's a superhero thing, I can't remember. Oh, League of Wannabe Superheroes, right? Those are animations. I've had a couple of inquiries in terms of doing this as an animation. I would not be opposed to exploring that. It's also been kind of an interesting trek to discover, because at the beginning of the COVID and about halfway through, a lot of people kind of clued in and said, well, we can't have people on live set. We'll go ahead and do animation. And what you're going to see in the next year are a lot of shows that are going to look like animations, but are really going to be like their live action shows in drag. It's actually been a lot harder to break into the animation space, particularly because in this cycle, you'll have seen that the companies will have gone to experienced producers who do not have experience in animation just to take their live action things and convert them into animation, or to say, hey, do you have something in animation? Because they have experience working with people. And it's because I have yet to establish a relationship. I'm still technically a noob, even though at this point I've written a shit ton of scripts. I have not been able to break into that space as of yet. But yeah, I've thought about it. I would love to explore the idea because I think we could do even more ridiculous things. The one area in which it is a little easier to market this piece is as a 1 hour piece, because there's precedence in terms of Buffy and some of the other sci-fi things. So that's kind of what I'm exploring now. But if you know anybody in the animation space who'd like to take a look, I also wouldn't be opposed.
David, you have something?
Yeah, Keith, I was going to mention two specific things.
Mhm.
First of all, regarding the script, the open. You didn't build any expectation about this little old lady. So I was wide open, and I wasn't surprised to find out she was a monster, because she did nothing just to give me any suggestion she was anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, that made the cold open weaker. And the other thing, I was kind of sort of, okay, she seems, your heroine seems to have absolutely no problem dealing with her. And I'm wondering if that kind of, my setup therefore is, well, she's not going to have any problem with anything. So I'm bored. Because, you know, she just took her nothing to take this creature out.
Mm-hmm.
She just seems to have she seems to have way more powers than Dumbledore and Gandalf combined, as far as that cold open goes. So I'm not worried about her. I didn't think she was in any danger. I had difficulty imagining what kind of danger she might be in. And to be honest, at the end of the scene, I am still not feeling she has been in any danger. But the other thing I was going to say is, and this is the route I have taken, because my background is theater, is especially now because the media has blown up in all sorts of ways. And I think you mentioned it. To, as much as possible, do things on your own to develop yourself as a brand. And the more you can do that, and means you have to be the producer, or you have to find a producer who's willing to do something to help you out in this way. But as inexpensively as possible, create a brand so people get excited about what kind of stories you come out with. Honestly, the cheapest way is an audio show, because then you don't need cameras, you don't need costumes, you don't need sets. But that's up to you. I'm just simply saying that is the one criticism I have of what I saw of your writing, which was entertaining and fun, but has a problem. And the other is about jump-starting your writing career in a way that you have direct control. My couple of pennies.
I must admit, when I almost said, because it would work so well with just having sound effects, you know, you could almost picture it as an audio show with the sound effects and all the crazy going on, and because it's very vivid. But it feels like we're kind of going backwards, aren't we? We're going back into the days of radio, but it's inventive.
Well, definitely. Thanks for bringing it in, and I hope you continue and bring in some more stuff. I really thought Sean got into that character.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
I know
She
Sean.
was very
I knew she
fun to
would.
play.
She was wonderful.
Thank you guys. You guys are all very kind to me, always. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody did a good job, but I do have to give, some special kudos. Sean, thank you. Jeff, who out of nowhere, became a practically, dead on perfect Brian on a cold read.
Yeah, he
So-
did.
Absolutely.
Yes, she did. You know, and Jules, who was an excellent Malcolm, and my child, and you know, Kathy, who just Lorna'd up the place, was just groovy.
The awesome demon.
So our second one was the letter, correct? Jeff's?
Yes.
That sounded very personal, and I really, I think what really worked for me was your reading of it, Jeff. It just felt very, very natural, and I like the way you ended it. I like that you kept it open for us to decide what was in the letter. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, David.
Jeff, that was really amazing. The truthfulness of it, the inherent story of it, and that as horrible as this story sounds, it actually isn't that unusual. It could actually have been much, much worse, which when you think about it is horrifying, because it was, when you describe something absolutely horrible. And there's a great deal of power to it. I will just say I think it's a one-man show. I didn't see a reason for the other character. That other character was behaving as a prop. Talk to us, tell the truth, and you'll have something, and that'll work. I kept wondering, what's their relationship? How is this impacting their relationship? I kept looking at her and saying, why is she here? Other than to ask you a question at appropriate times. And a potential to be a very, very good one-person show. Could be much longer.
If I could follow up and pick your brain for a moment on that, the reason that I ended up thinking of it as needing the other characters, needing Mandy, was because he needed a reason after however many years it was. Obviously, I am probably not going to pass as teens or early 20s in anybody's imagination. So first of all, thank you for suspending disbelief in that. But, you know, after 5-10 years, what would bring him to talk about something that was so deep and so troubling? And that was the piece that I felt needed somebody else there to have a reason. But I'm curious if you had any thoughts on another motivation for
You're
expressing
talking to that person, you're talking to whoever it is, we don't have to hear what they're saying.
Okay.
That's who they're talking. You're talking to them. Maybe it's your therapist, maybe it's your priest, maybe it's your girlfriend, maybe it's your boyfriend, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's I don't know.
I like the
Whoever.
therapist. I like the therapist idea.
Yeah, that's an obvious one.
Yeah.
But whoever it is the audience.
Or it could even be a telephone call. We hear only one side.
Yeah, that is a very good possibility, but then you're always well, not these days, because you could be wearing earphones and all this. But then the problem is, and I've seen this on stage, it's something you have to be very, very tricky of, is that the tendency, therefore, is to aim the energy through the phone. And that's if you're doing it right. If you aim the energy through the phone, you're not getting to the audience. I think it's stronger if the audience is the one you're talking to. They're a surrogate for whoever it is, because then that's where the energy goes. And then they're not eavesdropping. They're part of it. That's my 2 cents.
And my only suggestion, and I thought about this as the play was progressing, was so I think of these two people, maybe they're married. So then I'm thinking, well, how long have they been in a relationship that this subject has never come up? And so for me, I would need something either from her or from you kind of explaining why it's never come up before, why I've never talked about this, or at least her saying, you know, why have you never talked about this? You know, you've never told me about your father before. Why, you know, I would need something to give me a reason why if they've been in a relationship for a while, why this subject has never come up.
The thing is, I think for me, the trigger was the letter. So I didn't, I mean, I think if it's a more casual, like if it's a friend, like the wife of a friend who's become a friend as well, or the mother of the child that they share or something, then, you know, maybe, but they've only together a short time. Maybe it makes sense if then, you know, this letter comes and that triggers this. The other thing, I thought David's comment was really good, because what struck me was that Mandy keeps saying, my God, and then she doesn't really have much of another response. She says, my God, maybe
no story
5 times or something, and it gets distracting after a while. So if there's any way to do this where you're just like, maybe the audience don't even know who the other person is. I mean, does the audience need to know who the other person is? If the other person's, as you said, you know, if the other person's relationship to him doesn't impact what he's saying, really, then.
My own opinion, again, I'm terribly opinion. I'm sorry.
Good.
Art works best from specificity. Okay, if he's talking to some generic person, there's no specificity to what he's saying to that person. It's somebody. It doesn't have to be somebody. It can be someone. It can be a stranger even, as long as the actor knows who it is, and the audience needs to get some kind of a hint, particularly in the performance, who this is, who they are. Otherwise, they'll be confused. And they'll be right, and because they don't know if they're involved or are they voyeurs. They don't know what the relationship is, and they're going to try to figure it out. And they will be wasting their energy on that instead of absorbing this story.
I guess there are some monologues that are done so that there isn't a specific audience, but I take your point that it's hard to frame a scenario for that, for people just musing aloud.
Mm-hmm. That is in fact what I really wanted to avoid, was this feeling of him just musing out loud. Why are you saying this out loud, and so forth. Yeah.
I think if anything, if you were trying to get across feelings of regret, feelings of loss, and what the fuck do I do as I'm staring at this letter, boy, did you accomplish your goals. I mean, that was really, really nice, and I think really effective in terms of you know, letting us know how much, you know, that main character really felt that. I would really kind of look forward to feeling that feeling that, you know, as gut punched as it was, even more tighter gut punched, like almost if that hit sooner somehow in some way. I mean, I think what you did was effective in terms of what you were trying to get across, but if it could hit even faster and even harder, oh man, you'd have something putting people in tears.
And it may just be for you, because I can understand the idea of you wanting there to be a conversation between another person. So just give the other person maybe a little bit more impact, a little bit more involvement in the conversation. Maybe she has to pull it out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm being sick. Then my question becomes, what's her story? That's for, you know, it's totally okay for her to have her own story, her own arc, her own drama in the midst of all this, and it's wound up with you in some way. That's fine. I'm totally in favor of that. But if you're not going to give her that kind of story, why is she there on stage at all? And why would any actor want to play the part? They want to play your part.
I think there's a relationship there, and all you have to do is bring out the relationship.
No, I'll have to tell where she goes. What changes? How are they different people at the end? And it's
But not every character has to have an arc, because not
if there are
everybody
only two of them.
changes.
If there are
Not
only two
everybody
of them.
changes. Not everybody changes.
If there are only two people in a short play, yeah, they kind of both have to have a change. I think they do. It's a huge challenge not to have that.
somebody else was going to say something too. I think it was Claire or somebody down on the right-hand side of my screen, but I couldn't tell who it was.
I was saying if you wanted to go really dark because I thought you were going to go here at one point, and you want to. This might be just too melodramatic or something, but I thought the mother was going to have died. It's like in childbirth or after childbirth because of having to go through all the stress, and then you could discover he's at her grave. That might be going a little too far, but yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it seemed slightly on the long side, and so I think that's why I thought it was building up to something more, maybe. So, but it was good. It was very powerful.
Thanks. Yeah, the relationship that's between them right now, there is roommates. They're so how that evolves and how it changes Mandy's perspective is something that could be highlighted more in the nature of how she sees him. I'd have to go back and look at that and see if that's something that could be punctuated more or something too.
Hey, if you did try to explore it, and this is just a weird pitch here, so I'm just putting it out there. You do with it as you will.
Wait, does this have to do with demons or not? I'm not sure. No, go ahead. No.
Oh, it always has to do with demons
or monkeys.
What if instead of just a roommate, that's his sister, right? And what if she completely disagrees with everything she says? Like, what does that do to your story, right? Does that increase the gravitas of what's there? Does it change, does it endanger the relationship between the two of them? Does it make him feel like, he can't be honest with her because he's afraid of losing her as the last remnant of the family? Like all kinds of, little questions. And I'm not saying you have to follow any one of them. I'm just saying if it does something to your story that's meaningful in the path that you want to follow, to be able to look at something like that, that might be something to consider.
Yeah, that's a neat idea. That's something we're thinking about. Yeah.
Maybe the younger sister who was the baby born.
You could be her.
Oh, sorry. Rather than Ennis, it could be Mandy.
Yeah, if you really want the gut punch, it's Ennis dies because of the stress. That I think would be even worse than the mother dying.
Well, thanks for bringing it in. Jeff, are you planning on attending the Monday reading group?
I am, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I couldn't last week, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Did you get the link?
Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully it's the right one.
One of two, so it'll be fun.
Okay. So the next one is Claire's Zoom confusion.
And
funny.
There you are, Claire. Where did it come from?
Well, it came from this group actually, because I saw that there was a play reading scheduled, and I thought, and I had lots of work tasks that I should be doing. So instead I wrote a 5-minute script.
Oh, I thought this was one you had. Oh, wow. Wow.
Inspired by the group. And obviously, the character of Paul, I realized when, and by the way, I thought Jen was fantastic. She only just saw that script.
Yeah.
I thought the character of Paul is supposed to be bare-chested and in the original script, but I think it would have actually been fine if there'd just been a like a dressing gown robe kind of coming off the shoulders or something, just enough to shock Shirley.
Sure.
And then obviously the idea at the end was to have somebody who was basically looking like the QAnon shaman from the Capitol riots to kind of appear at the end. We couldn't get any volunteers for that, but it was still fun to see it performed.
So the dude character, was he supposed to be coming into the Raw group too, or was he coming in for the art?
He was coming in for that. So the concept was that Shirley or Chloe had, one of them had transposed their Zoom information, and so basically the same Zoom link had gone out to two very different groups, and so they'd all ended up on the same. Maybe they transposed the numbers or something. They'd ended up in the same Zoom meeting. So yeah, Paul and Chloe were there for the Life Drawing 101, with Paul being the model, and Shirley and Dude were there for the Make America Great Again group.
I think it's such a lovely concept and so closely related to real life. It is, and I'm not going to lie. If I was not muted, you would have heard me burst out in laughter a couple of times out loud. Particularly at the QAnon shaman. Right when whoever it was put on the MAGA hat, and I was just like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, Elizabeth was fantastic. She signed up for Shirley so early, so thank you very much for doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, and if I think what we need is more actors to get involved. So if anybody has anybody out there, you can direct
God,
it.
I know so many actors.
Oh, great.
I'm a theater critic. I know so many actors.
I just want to say, Claire, thank you for writing the piece. As soon as I saw it, I thought, oh man, I have to do this. And I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
I'm glad. That's what I was trying to do. Be funny and hopefully not offend everyone with half-naked actors across the screen. Of course, we didn't really have it. Yeah, I was a bit. I didn't think anyone was going to be painting tattoos on their body for the play reading group. But maybe if we ever do it again.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I've seen people go full naked on a Zoom inadvertently, and it's not as entertaining as you would hope it would be. One was because they just did not care, but the rest of them not so much.
Wow, multiple naked on a Zoom. I've yet to see my first.
The first play group I participated in, it got bombed with people just sitting at their computers nude. Yeah, Jules was there. That's how I met Jules. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
Wait, that's how you met Jules? You have to qualify.
Steven, let's clarify this. Hold on.
This was while you were still in prison or afterwards?
Right before.
Everyone has a story about Jules.
Busy year. Right.
Got it.
Claire.
That's much more inventive than any of the stories I've invented about Jules as well. Well
We've
done.
come up with a play now.
No.
Let's write this.
In the head.
Right.
I thought your piece, Claire, was a perfect vignette for this time, that it brings in Zoom, it brings in MAGA, it brings in taking classes online. It's what we've been doing, and when the wires cross. So yeah, a nice little gem.
Thank you. I didn't think of that. It's true. I guess it was all in my brain, right? So.
But very well constructed because it did have so many layers, and the setup was really nice too. So.
An idea just popped into my head, and I just want, and I will only throw this out at you because you wrote this delightful piece so quickly. What if every single person is at a wrong meeting? And it takes a long time, and just go bizarre. How just some of it's from the dark web, some of it's people thought this was a swingers group. Some of them, it's whatever, someone else thinking this is a murder mystery.
Oh yeah.
And just see how far you could take it. I think potentially it would take a lot of work, but if you did that, it could become so zany and wonderful. And if you want to do that, it's a thought.
That's an interesting thing. Next time I've
And
got work deadline.
the framing device for the whole thing, that could be, this is an escape room, and you have to figure out which meeting each person thought they were going to solve the puzzle.
Oh, sneaky. Yeah, we'll have to think about that one.
I love the idea that you guys have just been bouncing off, and I even love the idea of never knowing at the end of which possible meeting it was supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah, and just imagining, from the QAnon guy, to the most militant of moms, and all the different people that you could just throw in there who all would oppose each other and have different arguments. I mean, that's pretty damn juicy.
Sure. Yeah. And we got a bunch of writers here an hour thinking about it.
An entire meeting dedicated to that.
So our last one was a one-eyed man walks into a bar. And Mr. Paul Carpenter was the director. And Paul, I gotta say, if I ever need someone to do narration, I want it to be your voice.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that.
Can you do my voicemail?
Next on NPR, this
Right.
Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Every time I've had a reading, I ask the actor, I get an actor to do the reading of the stage directions, and I try to keep telling them, make it a story. Don't drone on and all this. Listen to it, meld in with the story. There's all this. They all go, yeah, I'll do that. Almost none of them can. And I think half the time I ask them about something about the play, they're giving it feedback, and they didn't even listen to to what they themselves said. You are nothing like that. Bravo, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
But this should be about the play. So
Sure. And I'm waiting for Babe to come back. I think she's there.
she's there and muted. There she is. Hi, babe.
I feel bad about the last scene. You know, I'm on my phone and I had a thing come up. It went totally white. Did you see that happen to the phone?
No.
No.
Yeah, you carried it beautifully, Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know I did. Thank you, but I know I did stumble over that last line. I don't know. I had something popped up on my screen,
Okay.
and it wasn't one of the children this time. So
Couldn't tell. Bravo.
David,
here's Uncle Bud.
your image is a bit blurry, but it was perfect for this character.
Yeah, I got this new desktop and it doesn't have a built-in camcorder, so I have this other one that's just.
And Mama's beautiful.
How
I have my own
cute.
audience. I have my own private audience. They want to say hi.
Yeah, it was
That's my niece.
Paul,
You say hi.
this was your piece,
Savannah.
right?
What's that?
You wrote this?
Yes.
That was Stephen who wrote it.
Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me. Oh, hi there. Okay, I'm curious about something.
Okay.
First of all, I enjoyed it very much. That was fun to do. I really had a blast, and I hope you didn't mind my performance. This felt like a stage play. It didn't. It's written in the screenplay format, or TV format, but it really felt like a stage play.
That probably just comes down to the fact that the program that I use to write in, sometimes I don't change the format, and I keep it at the default screenplay.
Oh, okay.
But it was written for actually this group when we were performing it pieces live, and so it was done, more like a stage production than as a
I have
screenplay.
so much trouble writing 10-minute plays, and I so admire the people who can write a good one. And this seems very nice. I hope you send it to a lot of contests. I think there's a real chance that you're winning something and getting some money.
This one I haven't sent out at all. No. Yeah, but it was one. I got involved in the Culver City group probably about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and this was the first piece that I wrote for that group, and it's that group and that piece and the feedback that I got that just motivated me to keep writing. I remember coming home from that day and I couldn't go to sleep. I kept thinking of other stories. And so I said, okay, I'm just not going to go to sleep. I'm just going to write down some notes and then I'll go to sleep and I'll write them. And I was up till 2 o'clock that morning and I had written two more plays that came out of the Culver City group. So it's this kind of thing is just, it's very motivating for writers to hear your work. You get a chance to know what works and what doesn't work, and the feedback is usually very, very positive.
I feel like too, it's like a muscle. You know, you condition it, you condition, and then when you actually get to the page, you kind of promise yourself only like 2 pages, but that muscle's strengthened, and it works. You know, and it's just like for actors, you know, you condition your imagination, and it gets stronger and stronger through tools. So
And for me,
this format is wonderful.
For me, I usually go longer, but because of these groups that I participate in, they all kind of want things at 10-minute pieces. So it's really forced me to be able to go in and kind of cut out things and say, yeah, I guess I really don't need that, or I can shorten this. It was, you know, if I didn't have those limitations, I would probably overwrite. So it's really helpful for me to do it.
I like the way it was tight, concise, nonstop. It kept going. Thank you for having me in it. Thank you for writing it, Stephen. Thank you for the direction, Paul. Thank you for the actors making me look good. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks for
short, concise, and
participating.
funny. It was great.
Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah,
participating.
The back and forth between was it Jim and Ben was just, it was so good. It was just so good. It's very
Particularly liked Jim's several deadpan lines, and I appreciate Paul's delivery of them. Just, I'm not pretending not to listen. Well, another shoe would be good.
No way I said Ben, sorry.
Well, Ben was Chuck.
No, I was Bill.
Oh, you were Bill. That's right.
Ben was David.
David.
I was Ben.
Was Ben. That's right. See, I can't even.
Well, thanks for inviting me again. I appreciate the chance.
I'm glad you got the opportunity. I'm hoping next month it'll run a bit smoother without the double Zoom ID. So, and if anybody wants to invite their friends, just get them to join the Play Reading Facebook page, and we'll start posting more writers. Anybody here wants to bring in something else, just as long as we can keep it to that 10-minute reference point. And it doesn't have to be just a short piece. It could be a piece of something bigger. It could be something that you're working on and you need to hear it and you want to work it out. Bring in that piece and let us interpret it for you.
Stephen, I was going to suggest something before we go.
Okay.
Let you know something. On the 28th of March at 1 o'clock, I am actually having a Zoom reading of a play I wrote.
Oh, great.
In some of its earlier forms, actually, Sean took part in some of the readings of some of the scenes.
Well, if you want to post it on the Facebook, on our Facebook page.
I was going to do that.
Great. Yeah.
What? David, I didn't hear what you said. Your audio was, I couldn't hear you. Can you say it again?
Sure. Can you hear me better now?
I can.
Okay, I'm holding the mic right next to my mouth. On the 28th of March at 1 o'clock, Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be having a reading of a play I wrote. It'll be on Zoom. And this is a play that you took part in some readings in the early part of the process of it. This is the one where you played the supervillain?
Yes. She was fun.
Yeah. Well, this time I've got the actresses playing Marie and Antoinette actually look like sisters. So, that's kind of something I went with. This time we're going to go a little bit with costumes, a few masks and things.
So the performance is coming up.
This is coming up. It will be, I've already cast it and everything. It's coming up. It'll be the 28th of March at 1 p.m. I do want to get people's feedback. And its title is Capes and Consequences.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
You'll all be invited.
Does anybody else want to promote anything while we're here before we take off?
Sure.
Oh.
I have a monthly group. It's called the Valley Screenwriters and Readers group on Facebook. And of course, we moved to Zoom now. We meet once a month, and I think our next meeting is 2 weeks from now, if I recall correctly. And we'd love to get more writers, more actors. We usually need material. We have several actors, but we need more scripts.
Okay.
I've got about 100. I will send them your way. We'll be all set. Just
Excellent.
next time we'll go through them all.
And I think I'm up to 84 scripts by now, I think.
Wow.
That many. So the screenwriting group that I mentioned, the Pasadena area screenwriting group, we have our next meeting next Sunday, same time as this one at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And I think what makes our group a little bit unusual, we do not do acting out of scripts, but we do read complete scripts. So if you have a completed TV or feature script and you want to have the entire thing read rather than read in chunks, as several groups have to because they act them out or they do multiple scripts, we always do complete scripts. We don't read them in the meeting, we read them in advance and then we discuss them. So
okay.
know anyone who's looking for that particularly, that's why I started the group, because I couldn't find a group that did that. So
what was it called again? Capacity and...
Is it Pasadena?
Pasadena. I'll put the link to the it's on Meetup, but I'll put the link on in the Facebook group. It's a Pasadena area screenwriter group. So it's meetup.com/PASG.
Okay. All right. Great.
I'll do the
what the
same
hell?
with our Sky Pilot. I'll put that in the page, the Facebook page.
Okay.
To send in.
Great
time.
I also have a
Thank you.
group, and I'll share details. I got to run, unfortunately, for a thing at 8, but I'll put some stuff in there. So
Okay. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow night, Joe.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I also have a group I'll put in. It's the Online Playwrights Roundtable, but it's about discussion of an idea, hammering out.
Okay.
And it's really, really great when you have it.
Okay. Very good.
Usually I find people ask questions that the writer never thought of. That's including me. So which is great.
That's why we need a whole discussion on on all these great events and groups.
Sure.
Maybe we already have one.
Yeah. They're all over now. Yeah.
But may I wish you, thank you, sir, very much for having me and for letting me act.
Sure.
And,
Thanks for coming in.
And may I wish you a lovely, lovely rest
Thank
of
you.
March.
Yeah.
And I hope all of us get our
Claire, go to
taxes
bed.
very soon.
I just stay up now.
Mine is due any day.
Bye.